Okay, so we're talking about civil partnerships, which is one thing that the Labour Party is, in my opinion, really did get right. I mean, that's great. I think it's fantastic they've been brought in. Of course, mainly the opponents and criticisms, and there are other people who think, oh, civil partnerships, I'm having civil partnerships. Oh, God, no. Oh, it's just evil. It's wrong. I mean, and of course, that does tend to come from more the conservative end of the spectrum than it does the liberal end of the spectrum. It's almost as though there's some kind of partisanship on it. But what is it with conservatives? I mean, just generally, is the big question. But I'm going to say specifically with this one. I mean, do they sort of think, well, we had a civil war, and that was awful. I mean, the king got his head chopped off, and just imagine what might happen with civil partnerships. I mean, the Queen might marry a lesbian. There'd be a constitutional crisis. Plus, I wouldn't even be able to have a guilty wank over it. Isn't that treason or something? It gets me, man, because people they formulate so, well, I think this about civil partnerships, and I feel that about civil partnerships, and hell, this is me here giving my opinion to the world about it, but I don't really pretend that anyone really gives a fuck. I mean, who really believes that their goddamn opinion is so very important anyway? Is it as though, I mean, I've got to sort of go, oh, well, this is my opinion on civil partnerships. Is it as though Tim and Tom, just generic homosexual lovers, are getting it on, and then suddenly Tom says, oh my God, I've just had a thought. And Tim goes, oh, and then he takes the cock out of his mouth and says, what is it? And Tom says, I wonder what Scott thinks about this. Do you think he's okay with it? What if he doesn't approve? I tell you what, I'll call him, shall I? So he picks up the phone, and there's no real need to ask why he has my number. Let's just say we met for coffee once, but it never went anywhere. He calls me up and says, hi Scott, it's Tom. And I say, oh, hi Tom, it's 2 in the morning. What's the trouble? And he says, well, I was just about to get it on with Tim, who, as you know, is a man like myself. And I just wondered if that was okay with you. And I reply, to be honest, mate, I've got a bucket of soapy fish, 2 girls, and a penguin in my room at the moment. So, just do what you like. It's got fuck all to do with me. Now, as regards gay marriage, I have got to say that if 2 men or 2 women want to experience the fucking misery of being chained to your partner in the eternal, cold, cloying grip of death that is the institution of marriage, then they should be as equally entitled to it as straight couples. I mean, I operate a policy of complete equality of opportunity when it comes to the right to a life of miserably regretting the worst choice you ever made. I just don't care if you're straight, you're gay, you're black, you're white, you're Jewish, or you're pretending to be Jewish so people around you stop yakking about Israel because they're afraid they might go off the boil and helicopter gunship your asses to kingdom come. I don't give a flying fuck what colour, creed, sexuality, or goddamn football team you support. If you want to make yourself miserable, you should have as much right as the next man or woman. That's my 2 cents on the matter. That's probably more 3 cents, really, isn't it? There's a bit of ranting there.